Hello everybody, welcome to the playthrough for Pro Division in the Summer Major Tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go. So, shot number 1, the drive. Here I'm going to play max side spin to the right with a katana ball. And I'm also going to use a 3.5 bar topspin, or like 3 or 3.5. But you can see here that with 3.5 we're going to come in so long that I would suggest that you play with maximum 3 bars of topspin, as you otherwise going to risk going into the rough. 10% extra for the drive. Very important that we do add that to our adjustment. So, and we get the ball to bounce over here, and you can see how long, and now it's gonna roll. Sit! It's so close, so close, so close. You know, this is so... this could another day be in the rough instead. But so 3 bars of topspin. Now with the approach we're going to have with a short iron. The short iron here is also going to be played 10% extra. So we play downhill, we do need to add that then to our adjustment. And now when we do make this shot, we're going to aim for the pin, and then we're going to adjust after that. And I would say in this case we're going to play, as you can see, with a thorn level 7. I'm going to play this one 4 rings. And it's going to be a little bit too much. And that is something that we're definitely going to have to tweak going forward. I just barely going to miss that one to the left. So just a little bit less, and then we're going to be fine. Hole number 2, it's time. And we're going to play the toughest course that we do have in the tournament, in my opinion. Titan ball, and we're playing with max side spin to the right, 4.5 bars. And I'm using 2.5 bar topspin. This shot can be made even with a lower level extra mile, but due to me not having accounts with more than extra mile level 8 than my pro accounts that I've already used, then I had to use the extra mile level 8. Adjusting for maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And then we're going to use half a ball of curl. And this is very important. Half of the ball should be outside the adjustment ring to the right. It should also be half of it be inside the adjustment ring to inside the adjustment ring. Getting it very close here to the rough line, but it's super important that you try to get there, because with that the second shot is going to be a decent one going towards the pin. Otherwise it's going to be tough. And also the drive 2.5 bar top spin and the max side spin to the right. Approach here 20% extra. I know that's a lot, but very important. And you can see here we have a very strange type of situation here. We're going to bounce over the bunker. It's going to be a possibility, absolutely, but it's going to be a very hard way to get an albatross. And this is what it's the toughest part with this hole, in my opinion. We bounce over here and the ball not dies, but it comes in a nice speed. So if it would be hitting the pin, it would definitely be in the hole, but it is a very tough albatross, so don't expect anything there. Hole number 3, the first part 3, and here we're going to play this one 10% over adjustment. I'm playing with a power 2 ball, and for those of you playing the adjustment that I do, combined with a power 2 ball, then you're going to play it 1-to-1 plus 1. And with that I mean I take the wind 6.9 with 6.9 rings plus 1 ring. So 7.9 rings is the adjustment here. Max side spin to the right. And we're playing with 1.5 bar backspin. So 1.5 bar backspin, and the ball is going to come in here and roll very nicely, and we're going to just miss the hole on the right side there. So 1.5 bar instead of 2 bars that I was using here. Hole number 4. And now we are going to play up on the right side, even though they would be giving us a good line on the left side, but I do feel that the right side is a little bit easier to consistently get an opportunity from distance. Quasar ball, which gives me 4.5 bar side spin to the left, and that is something that I would like to use. And 4.5 bar top spin is the important part as well. Then we adjust for maximum distance plus a 10% over adjustment. Once you have adjusted that, you push up your target into max distance, and then you take your shot. Because we do want to gain as much distance as possible, and when we are using a power 1 ball, we need to push up in the end. If you're using a power 2 ball, or a power 3 ball, you don't have to push up. So only if you do have a power 2 ball, power 1 ball, sorry. So when it comes to the approach here, we're going to over adjust it 10% as well. And now you can see I'm mixturing a little bit and looking for the rough bump here, but we actually try that in expert, and you're gonna see the result in expert. It's been giving me a big inconsistency when it comes to how it rolls towards the pin. So I'm going to approach the pin just a normal way, and in the end the thing that happens here is that I slip with my finger and I drag my target a little bit too much back, and that's going to of course make me miss the hole. So all from 2.5 to 3.5 bar backspin, aim for the pin and then take your shot. Don't forget the 10% extra. Hole number 5, the second par 3, we're going to use max side spin to the right, and I'm also going to use 4 bars of backspin. Here you can see that I'm using the blue ring around, 1/3 of it inside the rough to the right there, aiming with the second bounce on the fringe. Now the only thing here though is that we do need to get our second bounce a little bit further to the right, still on the fringe, which you're gonna see here. We are having a very nice roll towards the pin here, but we're just going to miss this one a little bit to the left. So the thing that I want you to do here is to adjust it in between a minimum distance and medium distance with a 10% over adjustment. Hole number 6, and now we are going to play with a Titan and the extra mile, which gives me the most distance that I do have on my clubs, and then we're going to go max overpower. You maybe wonder why I suggest max overpower. It's because the drive that is not including max overpower is not going to give you distance enough to give you a decent opportunity. And I'm using backspin here because I don't want the ball to fall into the bunker that we have on the top right. I also don't want our ball to go too far up to the left, so we're having the rough and the sand in play when we come to our second shot. So I'm using the side spin and the backspin to give myself an open line towards the pin like this. The only thing that I do here as a mistake is that I'm choosing the big dog. I actually didn't think that I was going to reach that far. So here the sniper would be the better club because it's very hard to read the ball guideline with the big dog, as it is very limited that we can see. The drive is going to be played 20% downhill, but as you're going to go full overpower, you don't really have to think about that. But for future purposes, then 20% downhill is going to be the play there. For the approach here, we are not going to over or under adjust anything. Make sure that you're not coming in too hot. We're coming in with an okay speed here, but still you can see that the ball will fall down and get back there to the fringe, and it won't be any problem to ship it in from there, but something to think about. Hole number 7, here we're going to play 30% downhill. That is a lot, I know, but very important that we do so. And I'm using 2.5 bar backspin, no side spin whatsoever, and just offsetting my ball guideline to be around, I can say 1.5 to 2 squares to the left of the pin. Very hard when we are so far up in the far up with our tee box to see and be very detailed here. But you can see that the shot coming in very nice, and we're getting it very close to get in the hole. A little bit less backspin or to move our target a little bit further up, then we're gonna be there. But I don't expect anything for hole number 7 because it is by far the toughest par 3 in my opinion. Hole number 8, and here we can almost go for green, and I'm using a katana ball here to give myself the side spin, and I'm using 4.5 bar top spin and as much curl to the right possible, and the curl is around half a ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. And we're gaining a decent amount of distance here. The thing that we do need to look at as well is that we do need to over adjust our drive 10% when we're making our shot. Very important. Once getting over here, we are going to have a short iron in either minimum distance, or we're going to have a wedge in maximum distance, or we're going to go for the dunk. That's up to each and every one of you to decide what you feel the most comfortable with. Don't forget to over adjust 10% when you do make this shot. A little extra thing with your drive there, you can use a quarterback if you have it in level 9+, because then you're going to have a decent distance, but also you're going to have a decent amount of topspin. But I do want you to use the club that gives you the most amount of topspin and also a good distance, so you in that case can reach as far as possible, because it's better to have a minimum distance short iron than it is to have a maximum distance short iron all day and every day. Hole number 9, and here we're going to play with an approach that I'm not suggesting in my hole guide, and we're going to go straight forward as we do have tailwind. Here it is very important that we reach to around 410 yard mark minimum. Without reaching to that mark, we're going to have to not maybe to overpowering tailwind, but we're going to have to stretch out our target and have a little bit of a problem when approaching for the rough bump. 10% downhill for the drive and max topspin, max side spin to the right, so you keep yourself on the right side, and also great proof it if you go to the left. Now I'm going to adjust this one for maximum distance of my club, and I'm going to go with no topspin, no backspin, aim for the pin using the sniper. And this is the reason why we do want to get over 410, so we can use the sniper, so we don't have to use the big dog or the cataclysm and have a very lousy ball guideline. Very important now, look what I do now when I'm done with my adjustment. I zoom in, I put up my target around half a ring up towards the pin again. That is to compensate from the lower distance that we're getting at. So when you adjust from a higher point to a lower point, the ball is going to go shorter. So then we need to push it up in the end half a ring to make sure that we compensate for that. Very good approach, and something that we were definitely going to continue with going forward. Last thing about that is that you're not going to adjust for any elevation. You just play it as it is. So this was the playthrough for Pro Division. For those of you looking for the updated text guides, those are only for patrons. You sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy to get them. All content for the summer major and for all the tours you can also find on golfclashtommy.com. Everything you find as a link in the video description down below. Let me know if you like it or not. Hit the thumbs up, and also if you have a question, make a comment. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the summer major.